Hey, what's up, Granger? James with Rowe-Thrush. Welcome to Season 3 of the Solution Selling Show. We're kicking off this year with Megapro Tools. I got a really cool story to tell you about Megapro. So back before I came here at Rowe-Thrush, I was an ASC Master Certified Technician. Just before leaving that industry, my father, Bob Thrush, was in the process of purchasing Rowe Marketing and turning it into Rowe-Thrush. He was approached by a gentleman by the name of Herman Froome with a multi-bit screwdriver that he wanted to get into the MRO industry. So my father said, I know the perfect person to test out this driver. So with me being a mechanic at the time, my dad gave me this driver. So I tested that driver out and I tested it very well. I threw it on the ground, I dropped it 100 times. I drove over it with vehicles, cars, trucks, trying to break that handle, and I could not break it. So my results back to my father was, this is a well-made driver. I love the retractable bit cartridge. So if you want to pursue this company, I give it a stamp of approval. And the rest is basically history. We got Megapro into Granger. That is my little story about Megapro. So with that all said, I do want to welcome Patrick to the show once again, his second appearance on the show. Welcome to the show, Patrick. Glad to have you back on once again. Welcome to Solution Selling Show, episode 1 of season 3.
Thank you very much for having me, James. It was a little hairy. We came from our plant in Niles, Michigan. Today we drove through a bit of a snowstorm, so we made it. We're here, and we're ready to talk about Megapro.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Luckily, we didn't schedule this earlier in the week when the snowstorm was much bigger because we got dumped on with about a foot of snow. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with Megapro and what do you do at Megapro?
Yeah, so officially, I have been with Megapro about 6 years. I just started with them again this past January, so it's just been a little over a year since I've been back in the fold, so to speak. I'm doing content creation and graphics right now. It's been a wild ride. The company's certainly changed since I've rejoined them. I was working for them for about 5 years, and then I believe I left at about 2016, 2017, and then I worked elsewhere. And then I was doing more hands-on work with the actual tools. So that was always useful to come back with that actual hands-on in the field knowledge of how the screwdrivers worked.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a cool story. And when I was a mechanic, my first automotive job, I was 17 years old. It was the summer year in between junior year in high school and senior year, and I started working at an automotive shop. And I got fired from the job because it was over the summer and I didn't take it too seriously. I showed up late 3 times to work, and that owner, he said 3 strikes, you're out, and he fired me. But the funny thing is, later, back when I was 19, so a couple years later, I was working at another automotive shop and I wasn't happy there. And so I was looking for a new job, and I had put them down as a previous employer. Mm-hmm. So people were actually calling them up, and they called me and said, hey, so are you looking for a job? And they rehired me. Oh, wow. And so I went back to work for this company, a small mom and pop type shop, and worked there for a number of years before moving on later on. But so similar, I could kind of relate to the leaving and coming back again and the differences with that. So. As what we do every year, we always have a fun question. Season 1, it was, what is your favorite movie and why? Season 2, when we had you on, it was, what is your favorite band or album? Yes. So first season, we had Herman on, the inventor of the Megapro, and his favorite movie was From Russia with Love. James Bond. Actually, my son and I, we just finished watching every single James Bond movie in order. So that was really great. Maybe. I'm not sure. We had the DVDs. We have like a box set of all of them up to Skyfall, I think. And then after that, because it came out shortly after Skyfall.
Right.
And when you came on last year, your favorite band, if I remember right, is the Parcels.
Yes, that's right.
The Solution Selling Show has their own playlist of everybody that we interviewed, who their favorite band is and the top song for that band, or if the person actually called out a specific song, it has that song in it. So
Really?
somewhere in our playlist, which is on iTunes, and I've shared the link before, and maybe I'll include a link down below. But yeah, the Parcels is in it. It's a very interesting mix of music, I must say, but a lot of American rock and roll is in it, so that's really cool. But yeah, I'll share the link with you too later so that you can check out our podcast playlist.
Very cool. That'd be awesome.
So this year's season, the topic is traveling. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? Where's like your most, either maybe you've already been somewhere and it's your favorite place to visit, or it's some place that you've never gone before and you would love to go. Where would you like to go and visit?
So the place that I have enjoyed the most traveling to was Tokyo, Japan. That was a very, very cool city. The place that I would probably most like to go, I mean, it's kind of a broad location. It would be Europe. Like, I've never been to Europe, so I'd love to see, where my family's from, in the UK, Scotland, England. I'd love to go Mediterranean, see Italy, Greece, Spain, Portugal. I'd love to go to France. My mom has some descended from people from France. I know people in Scandinavia and Denmark. So I would probably just love to do a tour of Europe.
That could take a long time to do too, because there's just so much in the culture.
Yeah.
It's just so amazing over there. I've been to Italy before,
Nice.
up near Lake Como area.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to go sightseeing and seeing stuff because we were
No.
visiting family. My wife, her father lived in Italy for a period of time,
Oh, cool.
so we were visiting him. But my wife is from France, from Paris.
Yeah, that's the craziest part about travel is the culture shock that you get, like just seeing how different parts of the world live.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we talk all the time about wanting to go to Norway because I'm Norwegian
Oh, cool.
as well. So going to Norway, Sweden, Germany, would love to go to Germany. There's so many places in Europe that would love to travel. So Tokyo, that's really cool that you've been there. I've always wanted to go to Tokyo as well and visit just all over the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite places that I've always wanted to go and never have gone is Egypt.
Oh,
To
cool.
see the pyramids and there's just so much history there, and I've always just had a fascination with
Yeah.
it. So that would be my kind of top pick for places to go. All right, so Megapro. What makes a Megapro driver so special?
I'd say it kind of boils down to three things. So the functionality of the screwdriver itself is superior in a lot of different ways. The patented features that allow it to function the way it does, it gives the user probably the most comfortable, most easy to use function as they're applying it to a screw. And I'd say the quality is the next best thing about Megapro. Just the quality of the build, the quality of the engineering, the quality of the thought that's gone into making these. We kind of boast about this. I think we've been multi-bit screwdriver experts since 1994.
Yeah.
So they've kind of been boiling down the perfect system for the multi-bit screwdriver since then. And I think the customer service and sort of the care we put into harboring good relationships with people we sell to and people who buy our product. And we love providing people with quality tools that help them get the job done. And that's, essentially the three things that kind of make a Megapro so special, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. The quality, as I was talking about, I drove over mine with cars and trucks.
Yeah.
I threw it on the ground trying to break. I was purposely trying to break this thing. And yeah, it's all scratched up and nicked up, but it still has that Megapro snap when you close it. It's a very unique sound and feel when you close a driver, that snap of it's like a vacuum suction almost or something, and it's very unique. that Megapro has, and my driver still has that after 17 or so years. It's amazing, the quality. Yeah, and the customer service is great too. You know, I've dealt with it a little bit myself, but not too much. So, but yeah, outstanding customer service you guys have too.
Yeah, I mean, we try and it's one of the things we pride ourselves on. I mean, because you know you can provide a good quality item, but then it's how you follow up with the customer and how you are as a brand afterwards that really stays with people long term. And customer service is a huge part of that. And like innovation as well is actually something that I didn't mention before, but we're constantly trying to innovate and try and sort of in a sense redefine functional hand tools, right? And try and make them as functional as high quality, with that element of customer service, and, elevate the brand and get us to where we're sort of leaders in that field.
So Megapro will be attending this year's Grainger Show, 2024 Grainger Show. They will be located in booth 118. So amongst all the hand tools and all that, but you can't miss the Megapro booth. And why you can't miss it is that's where all the crowd is. I kid you not. Every year, I've been going to the Grainger Show for 15 years, and the Megapro booth, you would never think it, but you guys have such a reputation, a following of people, and I always love being in that booth and manning the booth. Back in the day, you guys used to just have one person manning the booth, but nowadays you guys have 2 or 3 people every year. But it is just always so packed with people. Sometimes people just walk by and go, Megapro, love your driver. I have all of them, and they just keep on walking. It's just, you guys have such a great reputation with the Grainger people, but also I'm sure elsewhere because of the quality, the customer service, everything that we covered here.
100%. And it all kind of ties into like getting the chance to use the screwdriver, and that's the good thing about being at the Grainger Show, and I think that's one of the reasons we have such a big crowd there is people are attracted to these, and then we hand them one and they actually get to use it, and then it's like, oh, this thing is really cool, and they kind of see the functionality, they see the quality, and then they see how passionate we are about the product, and that all kind of just allows them to fall in love with the screwdriver and the brand. So we have a little something special for you, James, actually. This is hot off the press, so to speak, so why don't you...
Very cool. Thank you so much. I kind of have a feeling I know what this is because I've seen something on their website. So, and yep, it is what I thought it was. So this year, Megapro is celebrating their 30th anniversary. And they have these kits, these limited edition kits, celebrating that 30th anniversary. And I was looking at these and I'm just like, oh my God, I want this because how cool is that right there?
As you're talking about, the mega fans, it's a bit of a set sort of geared towards them. A limited edition collector's item. Celebrating the 30 years that we've been in business. There's a bit of a story and a method to the set itself. So each driver represents a decade that Megapro has been in business, with the original representing the first 10 years, the ratcheting representing the next 10 years, and then the precision representing the following 10 years, because that's when those drivers came out.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a theme there. You get some nice holographic stickers, a little bit of an insert there, has a sort of a company timeline with some notable milestones in our history. And they're all in the original blue and yellow colors.
Yeah.
It's just to sort of hammer home the point that we're the original retractable cartridge makers. That's sort of our secret sauce, the bread and butter of the Megapro driver, if you will. And we were just really excited about this. We've got a lot of stuff planned for 30-year anniversary, some product releases. We've got a bit of an event that's going to be happening in our hometown, Vancouver. Shout out to everyone from Vancouver. We're going to be doing a bit of like a multi-bit screwdriver swap, which is going to be a fun event. So you're going to be advertising that. That'll happen in the summer. And then we're going to have sort of an open house around fall going into winter. I think the company incorporated in November, so that's kind of when we're planning on having it. So a lot of giveaways, events, product releases this year. It's going to be 30 years is going to be a big year for us.
Yeah, it definitely is. And this is This is amazing. Thank you so much. The Megapro team, too. Everybody that put the thought and effort into making this. This is so cool. And like I said, I've seen pictures of this kit on the Megapro website, and I was like, that is so cool. I didn't know, though, that each driver represents 10 years. After 10 years, you came out with the ratcheting driver, and then most recently the Precision.
Yep.
But I love the fact that you did them in the original blue and yellow, all of them. That makes them special and unique. And I'm going to tell you this, I am never going to use these drivers because I want to keep them in pristine working order. I don't want them getting nicked or dirty. But that's so cool. And I love the stickers. I love stickers. My toolbox, I have a couple of drawers that are just covered in stickers.
Perfect.
So I'll definitely have put those on those drawers in my toolbox at home. So
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so we'll have this on for the year. So limited edition collector set for the year, celebrating 30 years.
Awesome. So now we want to cover some products, and go figure, the products are in the kit. So let's start with the original driver. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the original driver? So this is what started it all. This is not the driver that I first got. I got the automotive driver, but shortly after I did the testing with the automotive, I was given an original driver, and I still have it to this day.
Yeah, so this is sort of the driver design that they landed upon in the 90s, sort of around the time of incorporation. It's basically got our main features, the retractable cartridge, and then it's got the palm saver cap here. The retractable cartridge, James has already mentioned, it's very smooth. It's really easy to find the bit you're looking for. You just pull it out, you rotate, find your bit, snap it back in. It's super satisfying to use. The palm saver cap is actually really good when you're trying to get some extra torque because it turns independently of the driver handle. So you can press down to the top on the cap, and then you can rotate the handle so you can get extra force if you need it. And then the Easy Guide collar, basically that helps with alignment when you're trying to start a screw. It's really good for that. It's kind of like choking up on a baseball bat. You're not trying to handle the screwdriver on the end where you're just kind of
Wobbling.
and you have less control. It allows you to kind of get a little bit more control when you're starting the screw. I'll hold it up here. And yeah, those are the main functions of the driver. It's got a pretty, we call it the North American standard bit load. That's kind of why the part number is what it is. It's got 4 Phillips, 4 sizes of Torx, 4 sizes of square, and then 2 sizes of flathead. So it's 14 tips, and then this acts as a 1/4 inch hex shank. So therefore it's a 15-in-1 multi-bit screwdriver. That's the story of the original, basically.
That is super cool, and all of those features, I absolutely love about a Megapro. It's what makes them stand apart from other multi-bit drivers.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, I used to use multi-bit drivers in my automotive days, and you would have to unscrew the end cap, dump them into your hand, and then try and find the bit that you need, hopefully not dropping any on the ground and losing them, and then put the bit that you needed into the driver and also dump the bits back. It was just a whole process. And with that retractable bit cartridge, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is really nice. I like this. And the snapping shut of it and all, I mean, it's a great driver. The knurled handle, gives you good grip when your hands are wet. Or the driver is wet, so that's a really nice feature as well. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of people have tried to sort of imitate the retractable cartridge, but it's not necessarily going to meet the same quality standards that we have.
Yeah.
And it could lead to broken drivers too, right? Because it's sort of a hollow shaft, and we actually haven't had a handle break on our drivers since we've incorporated through about 30 years, right? So
yeah,
this is really hard resin, Triax resin. Really, really durable driver. Like you say, you've tried to run over it. People have tried to break it in a lot of different ways, but it's really, really durable.
And I will admit, plug your ears. I will admit, I have used a hammer and used my screwdriver as a chisel before. I know I shouldn't. I know that voids any warranties, but I'm not going to warranty it because it's not going to break.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's durable.
The other thing that I really like about these drivers too is, let's say you don't use any flathead. You have no flathead fasteners, within your facility that you're doing maintenance on, but you do have some hex. You could take out those flathead bits, and you could buy some hex bits and pop them in there, and then you have a fully customized driver for whatever your specific applications are.
Yeah, it's really cool that you can do that. You can really essentially just tailor the driver exactly like you said to your needs and whatever bit load you're looking for on the job. That can be incredibly handy. You're stuck somewhere in a tight squeeze and you're looking for a specific bit. If you encounter it a lot of times, and you put it in your Megapro, and you've got it right by your side.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, give me my Megapro back.
All right, attached.
I'm very attached to my Megapros. This one is actually my favorite Megapro of all of the ones, the ratcheting driver. So talk about the ratcheting driver, and when you're done with that, I'm going to talk about what my favorite parts are.
Yeah, so these ones are, they aren't made in the US, they're made in Canada with certain parts that have been outsourced. So this one is a little bit different in that it has sort of a rubber overmold. The rubber kind of allows a little bit of a better grip, we find. If you're in slippery situations, whether the driver or your hand is slippery, you can really get a good grip on it. It still has the same function in terms of the retractable cartridge. This one holds one less bit than the original driver handle. So this one's a 13-in-1. And it has the palm saver cap, so still the same functionality there. And this is a really, really ultra smooth 28-tooth ratcheting mechanism. And a lot of people give us compliments about the smoothness of the ratcheting and how well it works. And then this is sort of an aluminum shaft instead of the black oxide shaft. And I think this is kind of like the higher end model of the Megapro. It's sort of the Rolls-Royce of Megapro drivers, the ratcheting driver.
So my favorite thing is the 28 teeth.
Yes.
For the ratcheting mechanism. So you can both set it to be tightening or loosening or fixed. So you have those three settings. But I remember the first time I used one, I've used a handful of ratcheting drivers before. And when you would hit turn, you would be waiting and waiting and waiting for the click, and it would take forever. But with the Megapro with 28 teeth, it's click, 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 click. You get like 3 or 4 clicks before you would get one click with a competitor.
Yeah.
So very fine teeth and very durable too, like all Megapro. So that's my number one favorite thing about the ratcheting driver. The next is the handle. So I love the rubber grip and I love the more ergonomic handle shape to it. It just, to me, fitting it in my hand, I love the way the ratcheting drivers fit. My personal favorite, the Megapro ratcheting. And a cool thing too, you have this in a tamper-proof version, an automotive version, and this one, which is just your standard bit load.
Yeah, so the automotive ratcheting has 1-inch insert bits. It's got a magnetic tip, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit, the shaft is a little bit longer, so it allows you to kind of get in those tighter spaces if you're working in a car and an engine.
Yeah, and in those tighter spaces, that's when that ratcheting feature really comes in handy.
Yes.
Because you can't really move your hand a whole lot, and so having the fine teeth really helps out.
Yeah, when you don't have the maneuverability, you don't have the space, that is a lifesaver.
Now on to the newest one, and this is a really cool one too, and I really like this one too, the new Precision Driver.
Precision Driver, it's a 24-in-1, so that as I open the cap you can see these are all double-sided precision bits. It's absolutely perfect for small fasteners. This is basically the set that you would need if you're going to be working around computers, around tech. even doing, small jewelry repair. It works for the small screws that are attached to toys if you're needed to replace batteries.
Yeah.
It comes in more handy than you would think in more situations than you would think. So it's got the retractable cartridge, so it still has that same functionality there. It's still very smooth. It's got the palm saver cap, allowing you to apply more torque if you need to. It doesn't have the Easy Guide collar, but instead it's got sort of a rubber mold here, and it's got these nice fine grips that you can see here, and that really helps in terms of like fine tuning work. It allows you to work the driver one-handed like that, so it allows you for a little bit more control when in use. But it's a really popular driver. A lot of people, like I say, in tech find it really, really helpful. In 24 bits, it's a pretty impressive array of bits, so you're not likely to find or to encounter a screw that you don't have the bit for. And I think it has a pentalobe bit in there as well, which is fairly common with, I believe, Apple products.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, with phones and computers and things like that. So the bit load is pretty up to date in terms of its functionality as well.
Now, all of these drivers, not in these special edition colors, are loaded into Grainger with Grainger SKUs, as well as pretty much every single driver that they manufacture has a Grainger SKU.
There, sir.
So very cool. Now, my favorite thing about the precision driver, for one, it's a little bit smaller, like you said. You have it's a lot easier for one-handed usage. But my favorite thing is the end cap on this one. Because it's so smooth. It's almost like you have a bearing in there or something, because it's just so smooth, and I love it. Great product for that, for eyeglasses, like you said, jewelry, so I use mine not all the time, but it does get used periodically. So the precision driver from Megapro. Thank you so much for this. Really, really looking forward to this. So happy to have this. Thank you.
Cool.
Now we're going to talk about some new products. We don't have anything that we can show you here today, but I'm super excited to talk about this, and I'm sure the fan base, the loyal Megapro fan base, are going to be super excited to know about some new products coming from Megapro, hopefully later this year. But Patrick, why don't you tell us a little bit about these?
Yeah, so the timeline is hopeful for this year. For one, for sure, we are looking at releasing an insulated driver, an insulated multi-bit screwdriver. So I think there's only one other insulated multi-bit screwdriver in the world that's got sort of like a retractable situation. I think that might be Weha, but essentially Megapro is going to be releasing this probably sort of mid to late this year. There's also going to be a collection of insulated pliers as well that we're looking at releasing. Don't have too much in terms of details for those items, but they will be insulated, and we're hoping to have them VDE certified as well, which is a pretty high level certification. They rigorously test these, so it should be top notch in terms of quality.
So that is an item that I'm really excited about, because back when Megapro only would send one person to the Grainger show, there were a lot of times where I needed to man the booth for that individual, to give them a break, to let them go to the bathroom, let them get lunch, or I have an important call I need to make. And one question that I was asked repeatedly by Grainger customers was, are you going to come out with an insulated multi-bit? And I'm not sure if it was them or a combination of them and other customers that were inquiring about if you would do this, but super excited for that. And I know that as soon I'm very much in tune with the situation, and my contact Angela, I've been talking to her like, hey, as soon as we can, we need to fill out that Grainger pack file so we can submit it. As soon as we have pricing and we can give them a solid date of when it's available, we need to do this. That way Grainger will be one of the first ones out the gate with this driver because the Grainger customer base, they want it. They do. So really excited when that time comes.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of demand, and this has been a long time coming. We've had it on our radar for quite a while, and we're all just really excited that it's finally coming to fruition this year. So yeah, there's a lot of demand, a lot of people are interested, a lot of people have been asking from a lot of different companies, so it's coming, stay tuned.
Very cool. So what's the other item? I actually was surprised by this item, and I was like, that is so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so further along down the timeline, we are looking to have a stubby driver, a stubby version of the Megapro. We used to have sort of a more compact version, but this one is going to be even more compacter. So it's going to be a fairly small profile screwdriver. It's in the works right now. I can't give any solid confirmation in terms of dates or timelines or anything like that, but I know that it is in the works and that it is something that we hope to be releasing soon.
that is a really cool item, and I'm really excited about that. But as soon as it's ready, we'll definitely load both of those drivers in. Super excited.
Yeah, absolutely. We're pretty excited about it as well. I think the engineering for it is coming along really nicely. Yeah, it's just such a cool idea for a product. I know in my past work experience, there are a lot of situations where something like that would have been really handy. Just in a situation where you've only got like this much space to work with, getting a small driver in there is life-saving.
Oh, yeah.
So important.
And I'm looking forward to adding those two drivers to my arsenal of Megapros in my toolbox.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, tell us a little bit about some resources that Megapro has available.
Yeah, so we have obviously we have bits inside our drivers, and it's a pain in the butt when you
when you lose some, kind of like this one that we have in our display that's missing a couple. That was not planned either. That is just one of our drivers here at the office. It is missing a couple Megapro bits.
Yeah, that's the perfect setup though, because we do have a lost replacement bit program online. So if you go to megaprotools.com, there's a tab near the top. You can fill it out. You just give us a little bit of information, let us know what bit you're in need of, and we can send you a replacement bit. So that is a really nice resource for end customers, and I think it kind of helps in terms of like a selling feature to let people know that they're not, out of luck in case they lose a bit or in case a bit breaks. It doesn't happen very often, but it can happen, right? So it's just a nice resource to have to let people know. So that helps with the sale of the product, we find.
And I have a very recent story about this too, where I had a Grainger account manager reach out to me, and he said that his customer has the Megapro elevator multi-bit driver, and he lost a couple of bits. He didn't know which bits they were, but he did show a picture of the bits that he had left over.
Okay.
And I went onto the Megapro website, and I looked at what all are supposed to be in it, and through process of elimination, I figured out the two that were missing.
Yeah.
And I reached out to Angela, and I said, hey, Angela, I know you guys have this replacement bit program. I have a Grainger customer that has lost a couple. Can you help us out? And sure enough, just like Megapro's customer service, she was like, I'm on it. I got him out. I reached out. I followed up with the account manager. He said, I got him.
Perfect.
I gave him to the customer. He's happy.
Awesome.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So, bits, sometimes they break. They get brittle and they break, or they get lost. That's kind of a rarity, but, it happens too. Oh, yeah. And that's so nice that you guys offer that to your fan base.
Yeah, I think it's a real nice touch of customer service, and a lot of people are really happy that we do it. And we're trying to get the word out more about it as well, because a lot of people sort of call us and are wondering, I've got a lost bit, and they don't necessarily know about the program. So it's something to keep in the top of your mind and let people know about when you're selling Megapro, for sure.
Very cool.
In terms of another resource, we do have sort of an online resource for people who want to gather some more information, gather some, some sell sheets, some catalog information, things like that. Or if you want to download a video, we do have a dealer portal on our website as well, megaprotools.com. You just have to get a password from a sales rep, and then you can go into the portal, and then there's all kinds of resources, as I mentioned, sell sheets, videos, all kinds of tools that you can use to learn a little bit more about Megapro, even show some people so that they have sort of visuals, because a lot of people are sort of visual learners as well.
Yeah.
And it gives sort of a greater sense of what the product's about, what the features are about, and even what the company's about to some extent. So yeah, that's another really valuable tool that people can use.
He mentioned reaching out to a sales rep. At the end of the show, we'll pop in Angela Ohm's contact info. So she would be your resource to reach out to if you wanted access to the dealer portal. So that wraps things up. So Patrick, thank you for joining us on our show yet once again, and thank you for sharing your place of choice to visit. That's very cool. And do you have any closing words? Anything that you want to end the show with?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much for hosting us. It was very cool to come to the office here and do this in person. Yeah. If you're online, if you want to follow us on social, we are on Instagram, Megapro Tools, at Megapro Tools. We're at LinkedIn as well, Megapro Tools. You can check out our YouTube. We have some videos up there in terms of resources and sort of like some how-tos as well. And so look for us at booth 118 at the Grainger show. We're right across the Black & Decker booth, right sort of on an end cap there. We're looking forward to meeting more Grainger dealers, more Grainger reps. And also, if you want to reach out to us, our sales manager is Angela Ohms. Her email is angela@megaprotools.com. And thanks again for having us. And I believe that is all from us. So thank you again.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for the gift, too. Very, very happy to have received this gift, this 30th anniversary.
Yes. Happy anniversary, Megapro.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Take care.